10 questions you need to ask before you hire a builder or a contractor. If you're building new or planning a major renovation, choosing your builder or contractor may be the most important decision you will make. And one of the biggest mistakes I see homeowners make is starting with a question like, how much is it going to be? Of course, price matters, but after more than 30 years in the home building industry, I can tell you this. The lowest price at the beginning can sometimes become the most expensive in the end. It just does. Because you're not simply hiring someone to build walls, install cabinets, or coordinate trades. You're trusting someone with potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you're trusting them with your home. So before you sign a construction contract, here are 10 questions I would ask any builder or contractor before I gave them any permission to do any work. And some of these are questions most homeowners never think to ask. Of course, before meeting with anyone, do your research and always look at 3 separate contractors for any work. So let's get into this. Number 1, can I speak with 3 of your past clients? Almost every builder can probably give you the name of a happy customer. That's fine, but I'd take it one step further. I'd ask, can I speak with a customer whose project didn't go perfectly? Because construction doesn't always go perfect. Projects can fall behind schedule, materials can get delayed, deficiencies happen, mistakes happen. There can be disagreements over changes or costs. What I really want to know is what happens when something goes wrong. Did the builder communicate? Did they return calls? Were additional costs properly explained? Did they take responsibility for legitimate deficiencies? And did they actually get the problem resolved? Then ask the previous homeowner one final question. Knowing everything you know today, would you hire this builder or contractor again? Very simple. If the answer is yes, feel good, because that answer can tell you a lot. And number 2, can I meet the person who will actually be building my home? This is a really big one. The person selling you the project may not be the person you deal with once construction starts. Then you sign the contract, and suddenly you're dealing with someone you've never really met. So before you sign, I'd ask, can I meet the site supervisor or the construction manager who will actually be responsible for my home? I want to know, how long have they been with the company? What's their construction experience? How many projects are they currently supervising? How often will they physically be on my job site? And who is my day-to-day construction contact? But here's the question very few homeowners ask. What has your turnover been with site supervisors over the last few years? And that's a really important question. You can start with construction with an experienced site supervisor who knows the drawings, they know your selections, know your conversations, and all the little details about the project. Then halfway through the construction, that person leaves. Now, somebody new takes over. They have to learn the project. And this can happen, it does. Information gets lost, details get missed, and accountability can become unclear. Some employee turnover is normal, but if the company is consistently changing site supervisors or project managers, I'd want to understand why, because that can show major internal problems. And remember that question, because we're going to come back to it when we talk about warranty. Number 3, can I see one of your active job sites? Don't just look at the photographs of a finished home, go to the site. I want to see a house while it's being built, because an active construction site can tell you a tremendous amount about the builder. Is the site reasonably organized, clean? Are materials being protected? Is lumber sitting in mud exposed unnecessarily to the weather? Are finished products protected from damage? Is garbage regularly moved? Look at the mechanical room. That tells you a lot also. That's the heart of your home. Look at the plumbing. Look at the electrical. Make sure it looks clean. Everything looks intentional. Look at the framing. Does the work look organized and deliberate? I'm not saying that a construction site needs to look perfect, because it won't. It's a construction site, but it should look organized and look like they care. Construction is messy, but there's a difference between a working construction site and a poorly managed one. Big difference. Good builders generally don't start caring about quality 2 weeks before the possession. The way they manage a project when everything is still exposed can tell you a lot about what will eventually be hidden behind the finishes. After more than 30 years in the home building industry, I put a lot of what I've learned, the good, the bad, and the expensive mistakes I've seen homeowners make, into my book. So I'll leave a link below for anybody that's interested. And number 4, what exactly is included in your price? Don't just ask what's included, also ask what's not included. This is where homeowners can get into serious trouble. You might receive 2 quotes and one builder appears to be $50,000 cheaper, but are they actually comparing the same product? So ask about allowances. What's your flooring allowance, your cabinetry, countertops, appliances, lighting, plumbing fixtures, landscaping, any engineering that's required, any demolition. If you're doing a major renovation, that has to be in there. Garbage removal, utility connections, site work, painting, final cleaning. Is this all in that quote? And then look carefully at the allowances. If there's a $5,000 flooring allowance, but the flooring you've actually been shown is $12,000, you need to know that before signing the contract. A good construction proposal should clearly explain what you're buying, and equally important, what you're not buying. And number 5, how do you handle change orders in unforeseen conditions? Changes happen, especially in renovations. As soon as you open up a wall and discover something you weren't counting on, nobody could see this. So you decide to move a door, you upgrade your countertops. Maybe there is an unexpected structural issue. That's construction, and nothing can be seen until you start opening things up. But there needs to be a process. Ask, will I receive a written change order showing the cost and any scheduled impact before additional work? My preference is very simple. Define, price the change, explain the schedule impact, get approval, then proceed. What you don't want is to reach the end of the project and receive a huge bill for extras you didn't realize you were approving. Many times the contractor doing a large renovation can be very good, yet still not know where his numbers are till the end of the project. A good change order system protects both the homeowner and the contractor. Everybody knows where the numbers are and where they stand. And number 6, show me how you control the construction schedule. Notice I didn't say how long will the house take or the project take to complete. Almost anybody can give you a number. 6 months, 8 months, 12 months. Instead, ask, can you show me what your actual construction schedule looks like? But most of these companies use programs that can show you right any point in time where a project's at. And there should be milestones. You've got permitting, foundations, framing, windows, mechanical rough-ins, insulation, drywall, cabinets, interior finishes, and then you're going to be at possession. Then ask, how frequently is the schedule updated? You need to know this. Who coordinates the trades? How do you know when something is falling behind? And how will I be notified? Weather happens, materials get delayed, trades get sick. No schedule eliminates every problem. But what matters is whether the builder has a system for identifying problems early and adjusting the project. There's a big difference between a project being delayed and nobody realizing it's delayed until it's already a month behind. That's poor management. And number 7, what quality control happens before the walls are closed in? For me, this is one of the most important questions on this entire list, because once a drywall goes up, a tremendous amount of your house disappears. Framing, the plumbing, the electrical, the HVAC, insulation, the air sealing, fire blocking, structural connections. And many of these penetrations are in your building envelope, which would be covered up when the drywall goes in. So ask your builder, what inspections and quality control checks happen before the drywall goes up? And then I would specifically ask, do you perform a blower door test before the drywall stage, combined with an infrared camera inspection? And here's the second half of the question that's even more important. If the test identifies air leakage or insulation problems, will those areas be corrected before the drywall goes up? Because the entire reason for doing this test at this stage is to identify the problems. A blower door test can help identify uncontrolled air leakage through the building envelope, combined with the infrared camera under the appropriate conditions, and you can investigate areas where insulation or air sealing may not be performing well. You may identify problems around windows and doors, plumbing, electrical penetrations, mechanical penetrations, poorly sealed areas, missing or improper installed insulation, and any other weaknesses in the building envelope. Now think about the timing. Find those problems after the house is completed and finished, and repairs can become very disruptive and expensive. Find them before the drywall goes up. The walls are open. The trades are there. The areas are accessible, and many corrections are relatively straightforward. Then if significant problems are corrected, I want verification. We fixed it. Show me that the correction worked. That's not much to ask, right? That's construction intelligence, and that is what you should be paying for. And number 8, how are my payments protected? Ever be uncomfortable asking questions about money? That's your money, right? You're potentially handing someone hundreds of thousands of dollars. You should understand exactly how those payments work. So ask, what's the initial deposit? When are progress payments required? What milestone triggers each payment? What documentation will I receive? Are lien releases, waivers, statutory holdbacks, or other protections required where I'm building? And one of the biggest questions, am I paying for work that's actually being completed, or am I financing work that hasn't happened yet? Construction and lien laws vary depending on where you live, so understand the rules in your jurisdiction. But the principle is simple. Every time you're asked for a substantial payment, you should understand exactly why that payment is due and what are you getting. And number 9, what happens when I find a deficiency? Notice I said when, not if, because you will. Construction is not perfect and it will have deficiencies. I've inspected thousands of homes and I've never seen a completely perfect home. Something will need adjustments, something may need a repair. That's just normal. What matters is what happens next. Ask, what documents the deficiency? Who is responsible for getting the trade back? What's the expected timeline? Who verifies that the repair was actually completed? And there's another question homeowners rarely ask. What happens if the repair fails? Because a lot of times it does. Because sometimes the first repair doesn't work. Does the builder reopen the deficiency? Does the same trade return? At what point does another contractor or specialist get involved? A deficiency isn't resolved because somebody wrote completed beside it. It's resolved when the problem has actually been corrected. And number 10, what happens after you hand me the keys? Ask, who handles my warranty after possession? Then ask, can I meet that person on your team? How long have they been with the company? Very important. And what has your turnover been in the warranty department? This matters a lot. Imagine reporting a water leak. A warranty representative comes out. A repair is attempted. The problem comes back. You call again, but that employee has been replaced, left the company, whatever's happened. Now you're explaining the entire situation to somebody brand new. Another repair is attempted. That person leaves again. And 6 months later, you're explaining the same problem for the 3rd time. That's frustration. That's something you really don't want to be going through with your brand new home. And it's where documentation and continuity become incredibly important. So ask about the actual warranty. What is covered? How long is it covered? Is it in writing? Who do I call? What's considered an emergency? What are the response times? Are there scheduled follow-up inspections? And what documentation do I receive at possession? Depending on where you're building, also ask whether there's a third-party new home warranty program and exactly what protection it provides. I do have other videos that do discuss this, so come check out my channel at scottgrozelle.com. And I have now 2 bonus questions. These aren't officially part of the 10, but I wouldn't hire a builder without asking them. Bonus question number 1. How do you select your trades? This matters more than most homeowners realize. Your trades are ultimately building your home. Framer, the electrician, your plumbers, the HVAC guys, the drywaller. There's tremendous value in a builder having strong, long-term relationships with good trades. That's the key to a successful build, because ultimately your trades are your product. I've never seen a good home built with a company that's just taking trades one after another without vetting them. And bonus question number 2, show me your insurance licensing and permit process. Don't assume this stuff is being handled. Ask for whatever licensing, registration, insurance, workers' compensation, and other documentation applies where you're building. Who obtains the permits? Who schedules the inspections? For a renovation, what happens if you open up a wall and discover something requiring an engineer or additional approval? What's the process? These things have to be clear before you start with anyone. And who is responsible for dealing with it? You want those responsibilities established before you start. Now, final thought. Here's what I want homeowners to take away from this. You're not interviewing a builder simply to determine whether they know how to build a house. You're trying to understand how they operate. How do they communicate? How do they manage their people, their quality control? And how do they manage your money? How do they manage their trades? How do they control the schedule? What happens when something goes wrong? What happens when a repair fails? And who is going to be standing behind the home after you move in? Ultimately, that's what matters. Anybody can show you a beautiful photographs of a finished kitchen. Anybody can show you a gorgeous exterior. What you need to understand is the process and the people that produced it. So before you sign a contract, ask those questions. And don't just listen to the answers. Pay attention to how comfortable the builder is answering them. Because a professional builder shouldn't be threatened by an educated homeowner, which you should be. In my experience, the good ones appreciate it. Clear expectations at the beginning always have a lot of good outcomes. And that's what I call construction intelligence. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe to the channel and pass this on to anybody that you think might benefit from it. So thank you for joining me and take care.